I'm just fascinated by the human condition of making music and art.
You hit it on the head with the human condition and creating art. I'm with you there. So we're...
Well, it's great to see you, man. And congratulations on completing the music.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
It's exciting. I mean, it's such a tasteful sounding record. And
Appreciate that.
just the arrangements and, I mean, talk about giving you space to perform and just extend your vocal ability, which everyone already knows. It's like you're the best at what you do, but
Thank you.
sounds so effortless. I don't know. It just sounds like you're in a super comfortable place vocally on this record.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm getting into, like, I mean, we can wait. You want to wait to get this on camera? I just feel like...
I mean, we're recording, right?
Are we recording?
I'd rather just start.
Yeah,
I
me
don't really
too.
have a big introduction.
Yeah, cool. I like that. Like you said, I feel like I'm in a cool vein, but I haven't really... This album is super... it's just not very deep, you know? Yeah, I didn't go there like that, you know what I mean? I didn't go super deep with it. Thank you.
The last 2 or 3 years which have led up to this album, there's been some really significant change in your life, and the album being called Changes focuses on one, and we're going to get to a place of happiness, and this album is a happy album. I mean, it's really, you know, it feels to me like a musical tribute to your relationship. But I want to kind of kick the timeline off in 2017, and I always feel like there's a point with you, Justin, where you give so much, then you've got to a point where you've got to stop. But it's like the train is running, you know what I mean? So it has to stop in a dramatic fashion. Why did you stop the tour in 2017, and what was the reason for that?
I was really tired emotionally, physically, and I was sick, and I didn't realize I was sick. So I had like Epstein-Barr, which is like, it's called mono. And then I have Lyme disease. So it was that, it was just, you know, the exhaustion of just being on tour. And then it was just everything compounded, I think, to be honest.
How did you feel when the tour came to an end?
I mean, it didn't really come to an end. I was supposed to do a bunch of stadiums, but, you know, once the American leg or the European leg or wherever I came from last was done, I was like, this is it for me. I mean, I pushed through, you know, the last month or two, and I couldn't believe I pushed through that. So when they were like, you know, we got to still do stadiums, I was like, this is not going to be good. I'm not going to be able to make it through that. And it's just, no, it won't work. And I'm someone who pushes until it's like, you know, until it's like the last straw. So I just couldn't do it.
You knew instinctively that something was going on with your physical
Yeah,
state.
I knew there was something not right because I was doing everything right on tour. I mean, I wasn't, you know, I was keeping to myself. I was keeping on as much of a structured schedule as I could. I was doing the ice bath every day. I was eating salmon twice a day. Like I was doing the right thing to try to take care of my body. And it was just like just felt depleted and felt shitty all the time. So I was like, you know, and then that took an emotional toll on me. So I was like, you know, I just didn't know what the hell was going on.
How have you adapted to that experience, knowing now that you have Lyme disease? And how has it adjusted your lifestyle and how you move forward? And what changes have you noticed?
I think just making sure that I am just doing the right treatments for it, doing the right IVs and all that sort of stuff, taking the necessary precautions necessary to not get any worse, I guess. Listen to Haley when she says she feels that I'm run down, and it's good to have her as, you know, checks and balances. She can let me know when I'm like, all right, you're looking depleted right now. And
it's clear to anyone who hears this album, and also to anyone who takes an interest in your life as a fan,
right,
that the two of you have found, you know, a really important bond, and that this marriage has been a hugely important development in your life.
It's been a big reason of why I'm coming back and I'm successful at this. I think she is definitely the reason. There'd be no story without her. There would be no, she just ties it all together. I mean, she giving me substance to talk about. She's the person that I'm learning to, you know, love unconditionally, start a family with. So, you know, regardless if I sell another record, I mean, I have a lot of peace just knowing that I have the rest of my life to build a relationship with a solid foundation, trust and patience and all the things that go into building a healthy relationship.
When I listen to the sort of what's been said from either of you, it's been documented in the series, but also what you've said, it sounds like both of you to some degree knew it was right, but you were both had to go in sort of in your own way sort of confirm or qualify that was the case.
Right.
How did you know? And there's a song on the album which really refers to that, which is that's what real love is, you know?
Yeah.
And how did you kind of know?
I'd let her know prior to the tour when we were hanging a lot. I said, listen, I'm still really hurt and still trying to figure out my way, and I'm not ready to make a commitment to you in a way that, I just don't want to say something and do the opposite, because I was at the point where I'd done that in the past, and I just was like honest with her. It was like, I'm not in a place to, be faithful and all this sort of stuff that I wanted to be, but I just wasn't there yet. And
what was hurting you at the time? You said you were still hurt.
I think I was just hurt from my previous relationship. I think I still was dealing with a lot of unforgiveness and all that sort of stuff. So to be honest, I don't think I even knew what I was really struggling with at the time. I don't think I knew I was dealing with unforgiveness. I was just in a place where I knew I didn't want to tell her one thing, and I felt like she respected me at the time, and I had a lot of respect for her. And so I just didn't want to say something and then she'd see me off doing some other thing. And so, but either way, she loved me, and seeing me with other people hurt her. And so with that being said, she went out and did things that hurt me. And so it was just this hurt. I hurt her, she hurt me. And then before tour, we just really stopped talking. I was really upset. And rather than, before that in my previous relationship, I went off and just went crazy and went wild, just was, being reckless. This time I took the time to really build myself and focus on, me, and try to make the right decisions and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, I got better. And so she would reach out to people that were that we knew.
Check in on you. And
check in, and she would get you'd hear, right? You'd hear oh, he's doing so well. And she would be so pissed off because she's like, he's not doing well without me. Just, normal, right? Normal.
Facts.
Yeah.
Right? And
if you want to think you're happy for someone, it sucks to hear that they're happy without you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so she would hear this, right? You'd hear this, and it would just be, you'd just be like, what? He's doing well?
But in a way, you're kind of trying to get better because you recognize there's something that is unresolved here in a weird way.
Right. I just didn't know what the heck was going on. And so I really took a deep dive in my faith, to be honest. I just went deep into I believed in Jesus, but I never really when it says following Jesus is actually turning away from sin. And so there's no, what it talks about in the Bible, it's there's no obedience. There's no faith without obedience. So it's I had faith about oh, I believe Jesus died on the cross for me, but I never really implemented it into my life. I never was I'm gonna be obedient. So I was I wasn't sleeping around. I wasn't doing a lot of stuff. I just was kind of by myself. And
how did you who helped you come to that? Because I'm sure there are a lot of, and I don't mean this in a judgmental way, it's just humanity and everyone's on their own journey. There are a lot of people who are practicing one belief or another, but as you say, it's different when you say it as opposed to actually acting within its guidelines, which are there to give you ultimate focus, right, on what's important. So when did you decide to actually move within the guidelines, and how did you find yourself away from, I believe in Jesus, but I'm going to drink or do drugs or sleep around or all these other distractions? How did you get out of that world? What was the turning point for you?
I think it was my perception of who Jesus really was, I'd had really bad examples of Christians in my life who would say one thing and do another. So they were my direct example of who Jesus was.
That's why you didn't take it seriously.
I didn't take it as seriously because I didn't have good examples.
Good role models.
And so I think the more I really looked at the character of who Jesus really was.
Did you grow up in a Christian household?
I grew up in a Christian household, yeah. But my mom was, she was really hurt growing up. She had so many things going on in her life, so she was navigating her faith journey. For me, it was just confusing because she'd say one thing and then she would say, well, you're forgiven, but then I'd do something bad or whatever was supposedly bad, but then she'd make me feel ashamed for it. So it's like, well, if Jesus forgives me, then why are you making me feel bad for doing something? Like, obviously there's like a form of like, we got to make sure we keep our kids accountable and punish our kids so that they learn from their mistakes. But like, if there's this God named Jesus who died for our sins so that we don't have to live in shame, then why? It was just things like that would make me really question, like, who is this Jesus guy? And I didn't really take a deep look into who he was.
That's tough. I mean, I get it. Like hey man, our parents do the best they can. And I've been through my own, situations where I've confronted the things that have affected my life's choices.
Exactly.
But at some point, you got to come to a decision. You got to take responsibility for your own perception of those situations, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you run around just blaming everybody, and that's an entitled situation, right?
Yeah, it's no good.
It entitles you to behave however you want. You know what I mean?
100%.
I guess that's what I was getting at when I was talking about those tough years, is in a way, you were punishing yourself because you didn't have the answers, right?
I think so. That's a good way to put it. Yeah. I think that I was just, living in this shame, living in all this sort of stuff of my past, and I wasn't able to move on. But the more I looked at, so now I'm not doing, the way I look at my relationship with God and with Jesus is I'm not trying to earn God's love by doing good things. God has already loved me for who I am before I did anything to earn and deserve it. It's a free gift by accepting Jesus and just giving your life to him. And what he did is the gift. The forgiveness is the thing that we look at and, I'm going to worship you, God, because you gave me something so good. And so you live that life of like, I don't want to cheat on my wife, not because it's the right thing to do, but because I don't want to hurt her. See the difference there?
That is love.
Yeah. It's
You're putting the well-being of someone that you care about ahead of your own fallibilities and your own previous behavior.
Exactly.
And what's out there.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I love that.
Can I ask you a tough question before we focus on the future and how bright things look? Do you think that if you hadn't redefined what Jesus was and reclaimed it into something that was worthy of practice for you, which then led you on a path of reconciliation with your wife, do you think the person that the you of then was on a path of self-destruction? Do you feel that you were self-destructing?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I would have, for sure, 100%. Yeah, 100%. It would have been no bueno. It was bad. It would have been, I don't know if I'd be alive for sure. It was dark, really dark. So I'm very, very grateful to have influences in my life that have played a huge part in me seeing their relationship with Jesus and their relationship with their wives and their relationship with their kids and saying, that's what I want, and striving after that. So that's, I was thinking too, it's not, obviously, when we want to be successful in certain things, there's things we have to work hard at, but like striving for God's love or God's approval or people's approval, it's like, God's told me, he said, I don't hear from God audibly, but I feel like God's, when he sees us, he's not this God that a lot of people think that it's like judgmental, and he's a God that accepts us for who we are and loves us through our pain and through our dirt. Jesus wasn't this religious elite guy that, came to, but he was in the dirt, and he found me in my dirt and pulled me out. And that's why my story, that's why I'm not afraid. I want to talk about without forcing that into people's, I never want to be someone that's trying to persuade anyone to believe in what I believe. I think God persuades people, but I want to definitely tell my story so that if that resonates to anybody, that they can hopefully learn from it.
It's 2020 going forward into a new decade, and I think about from 2008-9 when it first started for you right through. You worked nonstop, and that was a decade in full visibility of the world.
Yeah, I definitely have grown up in front of the world for sure. But there's nothing. Just even thinking now, what we're doing right now is we are We're building relationship. What you and I are doing right now, we're building trust. We're building, this isn't just, people will see this and look at it as an interview, but what we're doing is we're just two men sitting down talking about life and the human condition. So when you first started and you said that, I was like, okay, this is gonna be good.
Well, for me, music comes from somewhere.
Right.
And we always have to remember that maybe it comes from this youthful naivety and this desire to escape something. And then you get out there in front of the world, and then it comes from a place of wanting more of it.
Yeah.
And a desire to continue to fill this kind of bucket.
Right.
Because it tastes good, all this stuff in there. There's this energy, this attention, this fame, right?
Yeah.
It validates you.
Exactly. Just think about how young I was and so impressionable. And you have everybody telling me how awesome I am at all times, and it was just insane. And so it's like, how do you? Yeah.
It's like taking a kid and putting a kid in a room with a picnic table full of nothing but sweets,
right?
And just saying, I'll be back in 2 days.
Exactly. And I'm glad you said that, because it's like, I just want people to understand, and get that perspective of my life, because I think there's a lot of people, that just have this, I'll see comments and stuff, and I really try not to read them, but I find myself in a wormhole sometimes.
Sure, it's human nature.
But just seeing me talking about my issues or my problems and stuff, and they're like, oh man, cry me a river in your Rolls Royce, you know what I mean? It's like, I want people to kind of understand the psychology behind why I potentially could have, problems in my life. So yeah, thank you for being here and helping me tell that story. I like to go there. It's my thing.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I think it's important, not just for me, it's about trying to get information that helps break down the stigma that artists should be grateful for everything that they have. We should be grateful for everything we have just when we wake up every morning with our eyes open, for obvious reasons.
Exactly.
But artists go through their own struggles, and I think that we need to acknowledge and accept that.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you.
When did the fire to make music come back? Because to pick the timeline up again, it's sort of you're off tour and you realize that you still haven't dealt with certain things, right?
Yeah.
It's 2017, and did you get hit again? Were you slammed again by these kind of unresolved emotions and feelings? And did you have questions when you came off tour that you still didn't have answers for?
I got off tour, and there was this feeling of unresolved things in my life. I took the time to resolve some things in my life, some relationships, get some healing.
Did you go to therapy?
Work through some healing. Yeah, I did. I think it's important that we express our feelings and find that place. I think a lot of people, at one time I felt like, who is this person to give me advice? What does he know about? And I've just grown to mature past that and just know that it's helpful.
When did you realize that it was time for you to reconnect with Haley and that you had gotten to a place when you knew that you could potentially actually pursue something substantial?
I just felt there was a lot of resolution in my life. I'd seen her at an event, and I'd seen her with a baby, and something just clicked, and it was like, wow, she's the one. I'd kind of decluttered some of my past, and I was able to see really clearly, and I just seen her across the room. She was holding a baby, and I just seen the nurturing look in her eyes toward this baby. And I was like, I want the mother of my children to look at a baby the way that she was, and the way she was carrying it. And I just seen something so special, and I just was like, I want that. And I knew that she could offer that to me. Yeah.
It was a great story.
Thank you.
How quick was it after that?
It
seemed pretty quick.
It was very quick. It was a couple months later, I popped the question, and then it was a couple months later, we got married.
Were you nervous before you popped the question?
I was. That's a big commitment, and my parents were never married, so I never had that. I never got to see what that really looked like. So I'm like, can I even do this? Do I even know what it looks like to do this? But I just felt like God was saying, I'll show you. I'll show you how to do it. Just trust. So I just trusted him, and just let him, lead the way, and committed to her. And
I didn't realize your parents weren't married.
yeah, my parents weren't married. No.
So that's a huge step to take, given that the situation from which you came, there's no kind of
I
prior.
had no guidelines,
there's guidelines.
no nothing.
Yeah.
My dad is now married, and he's doing an awesome job, and I'm really proud of him.
Are you at a place of honesty now with your parents? Can you sit down with your dad when you need to, when you need answers? Perhaps you're not sure why you're thinking certain things, or your behavior isn't in line with your actual desires, what you want to be. Can you talk to your parents? Can you try to untangle that?
To be honest, I think there's levels of, what I think our relationship is ready to handle at this moment, where they're at in their journey with, their faith, and where they're at in their life, and where I'm at. I just think, I want them to play a role in my life, and it's pretty simple, just be my mom and dad. And I think it's just taken me a minute. I'm really in the process of doing that right now, so it's really kind of still, I'm still learning how to do all that.
And still learning how to trust people?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I think boundaries, to be honest, is like key, understanding like there's people that play certain roles in my life, and kind of just to let them play that role and not give them access to certain parts of my life. And that's something you have to do, not only as for your own emotional well-being, but I think as a business leader as well, and something I'm learning. I've made some mistakes over the past year or two, just Scooter's over there probably laughing. Just I do I have a problem with trust, but then there's areas of like I do trust people a little too much sometimes.
Bad judgments?
Sometimes. I'm just working through, just kind of trying to figure out all that sort of stuff.
People who take advantage? Do you feel like people have taken advantage of you in the past?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, people take advantage, of course. But just kind of trying to figure out how to navigate being married. I'm friggin' married now, and I got the best wife in the world. She supports me through so much. I'm really honored to be her husband, and I just...
Clearly, you've made a whole album about it.
Yeah, and there's more to come. I mean, I want to continue to write about what it looks like to be... It's, this is an album I wrote in the first year of our marriage, so it's like, it's so fresh, and there's so much more to learn about commitment and, building trust and foundation. I'm looking forward to continuing to build and make music that's going to reflect that.
That's what's great about Changes. It's a honeymoon record.
Yeah.
It's a honeymoon record.
Yeah, exactly.
It would be sort of disingenuine to start diving deeper into that situation when you're just learning about it in the beginning stages.
Yeah, so I think I'm excited about this, but I'm just like, there's so much more, there's so much deeper levels I'm excited to go to, which is fun. It gives me something to look forward to. I think in the past I was so caught up in all of like the bad things in my life that I wasn't able to really take a second and really appreciate all the little things. But yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be good.